Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And today we're going to talk about career transitions. So this is the Genies Career Hub second ever podcast. So I thought we could get started and do some introductions. So Estelle, over to you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I'm Estelle. I'm French, as you can probably hear it. I'm an accredited coach, a career and confidence coach. And I spent the last 25 years working in a fast-paced and fast-evolving industry, mainly at leadership roles. And I'm passionate about helping people grow in their role and in their life. And that's what led me quite naturally to coaching. I completed several training certification in coaching, mainly about imposter syndrome, career transition as well. Team and group coaching as well. And I went through burnout and redundancy in my career. So I'm also bringing my personal experience to this role. And I'm looking forward to our discussion today. Oh, and I'm based in Brighton, by the way, in the UK, as you know, sunny Brighton.
Gorgeous part of the UK, sunny Brighton.
Yes. My name is Clare. I'm a career and mindset coach. I've got a background in financial services, leadership, corporate leadership and corporate culture. So one-to-one and group coaching for many, many years through that industry. Then I actually left so that I could follow my own thing. And I've been running my own practice now for 14 years in many different guises. I'm a full-time digital nomad. I specialize in leadership, mindset, and all the soft human skills. So I have also a 20-year spiritual coaching background, kind of that was in the closet for a long time, that now comes into a very holistic approach. With my work, I help people to find their focus, get grounded, have daily practices, get in the right mindset so that they can progress in their lives. That's where I'm at. And I'm currently in Mexico, and I'm usually from Glastonbury in the UK.
Wow. That's fantastic, ladies, honestly. And it's exactly the type of kind of background which is so synergistic with, what I'm trying to do here with Genies Career Hub as well. I mean, we've gone through peaks, troughs, and God knows what else all thrown into one. But I think we're finally getting to a point now where the vision that I kind of had created in my own mind is finally translated into kind of like a beta kind of platform. But I think ultimately we can have all these amazing kind of AI tools and gadgets and things, but the mentorship piece is the biggest piece of all. And I think, especially when you're in a career transition, and believe me, I've been in a hell of a lot of those in my own personal journey, like I said, the peaks and troughs, and some where, needing that kind of mentorship and that guidance. And I think myself, when I was kind of like in a marriage breakdown and split back in 2014 time, having kind of inspirational kind of coaches that guided me through that journey to kind of help me to evolve and really kind of discover where my passions were and where I wanted to go. And that led me on the journey to go into a more kind of holistic role, because I'd been doing kind of like the leadership piece, I'd been doing the recruitment piece, I'd worked in IT, and then I suppose getting to a point where I could help people myself, so which led me to kind of working in the NHS for a number of years as an individual placement support specialist, where I help people with enduring mental health issues and forensic backgrounds, hospital orders, that kind of thing, get back into work. And I think having gone through my own kind of, I'll call it a path description, to get to the floor, to kind of build myself back up again. It gave me an entirely different focus and indeed a purpose as well. I've just hired 2 interns into the business on Monday, actually, and they've been an absolute lifesend, and they're helping me with some of the corporate documents. And we had this conversation actually early on about, what led me to kind of build this kind of platform. And I think, to be honest with you, it was those changes in my own career transition journey, which kind of led me to believe that, you know, there is something like this required, you know, to help people in their journeys, you know, whatever different segment of the market, whether they're graduates or they're school leavers, you know, or they're a little bit further along in their career, you know, mid-career, late career, we could all do with a little bit of coaching and guidance. And at so many different points in your career as well, you know, you are going to experience those times, you know, due to whatever circumstance, that you're going to have to, you know, consider career transition, whether it's financial, you know, it's redundancy, life purpose, life journey, whatever. So yeah, I think it's a very purposeful conversation that we're having today.
I agree. Job market is well, the industry at the moment is just leads to lots of career transition, and yeah, ask the question, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Estelle, if we take it over to you then, I mean, in your coaching practice now, for example, I mean, what do you think are some of the typical, you know, examples that people would come to you on their journey, and how would you kind of handle that in your coaching practice?
Well, at the moment, mainly it's for career transition. There's been lots of, so my industry, in my background, it's the gaming industry, and there's been lots and lots of redundancy post-COVID for different reasons, but lots of studios are closing, people are being made redundant. And yes, it's hard because it's re-entering a job market, a very, very competitive job market. So yes, I think the idea of people hiring a coach is really to give them a sense, to give them some direction, right? And also to build back the confidence as well, to re-enter this job market with confidence and purpose. You said that earlier, but because there's lots of fears around that, right? The fear of the unknown, obviously. You know, what if I fail? What if this isn't the right move? Imposter syndrome as well.
Absolutely.
Quite specialized about this,
isn't it? Imposter syndrome.
Yes, it's when you see, you know, you go to LinkedIn, which is a great social media, especially when you're looking for a job, but it's also a dangerous place where you can, you know, which can trigger all your imposter feelings, you know, all of a sudden, especially when you're re-entering the job market. A lack of direction as well. You know I want to change, but I don't exactly know what to do next. External pressure.
That's a really common theme, actually. I've had a couple of people, you know, come to me via referral, and I mean, they're like, one minute they want to be like go into heating and plumbing, the next they want to be an entrepreneur and start up their own martial arts studio. And this particular guy, bless him, was saying, you know, that he considered so many things. And I said, well, look, we kind of have to break it down into, you know, more manageable chunks. You know,
when you're laid off,
your motivations, your drivers, that kind of thing. Sorry.
No worries. When you've been laid off, obviously, you can also use that as an opportunity to, you know, to actually do this career change that you've been thinking of for a long time, never really dared doing it. So it can be this opportunity, right? That who knows? But there's also, but still, you might need some direction, and there's other challenges like external pressure as well. You know, from friends and partners, your family and friends might be very supportive. Still, you know, they might have their own ideas about, oh, you should do this, or you should do that, or I think, you know, this is good.
Good for you. Good fit for you.
Yes, it comes certainly from a place of support and love and kindness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not necessarily what you need, and I think much because of this of our non-judgmental approach, safe space we're creating for the clients. A place where you can say anything to your coach, right? I'm never going to judge you. We're never going to judge our clients.
Yeah, because it's a non-biased environment, you know, the accredited coaches, and no one's there to judge you, are they? And you know, we can take it in people's time. We can, you know, we can give them the space and time that they need to come to their own conclusions, you know, themselves about what they want to do next.
And it's also about, welcoming their emotions. It's about using all the empathy that we can have as coach to offer them this space where we are not here to tell them what to do, what they should do. It's just we're here to welcome their emotions, to welcome them as they are. And when I was made redundant, lots of people told me, "Oh, one door closes, another one opens."
That's the typical one.
I looked for this door, for a long time. I was in a cupboard, no boards, no windows, no nothing. I was so fed up of hearing that. And I know these people meant well. They love me and they say that, just to encourage me. But I didn't need that. I just needed someone who sat in front of me and just said, "I know it's hard. Yeah, you can cry. I'm going to hug you." And just, you don't necessarily need to hug the person, but just like, and I think the best moment I had was actually with my own coach. The session I spent, probably out of the 90 minutes, I spent 60 minutes crying in this session.
I think a couple of the coaching sessions I ended up with tears as well.
And I was completely comfortable with that. And they were too, to see their coach. And I felt so good and re-energized at the end of the session, because that's all I needed. Because my coach was like, "Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard. I know that. It's yes, let it go. Let it go. You are going through a hard time."
Yeah.
I didn't need anyone to tell me, "It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to find a job at some point. I knew that. But I just needed someone who would just have this empathy, understand what I was going through, and allow me to feel what I had to feel.
Yeah, it's so important. Really, really is. Just to be in that space, safe space, where they're not talking about themselves either, and they haven't got their own motivations. They're there for you.
It's your space.
You and,
yes. It's always like this that I describe this coaching session, to a new client. It's a space for you to think out loud. It's your space. It's your time for yourself.
That's actually a great way of putting it, Estelle. I really like that. Yeah.
You don't have that many opportunities in your week, to have this bubble.
What do you think, Claire? How do you find it? What do you feel are the common issues or challenges people would come to your coaching practice with, and how do you think you help them, coach them along their own career development journey?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we're caught in, I see a lot of confusion, distraction, lack of focus, and that's just typical of the world that we're in. We're busy, we're encouraged to steer away from the path. It's very, very difficult for people to get their clear north and go for it. And it's very easy to say that. It's very easy to throw around the affirmations. And as you were saying, Estelle, it's very easy to give advice, to take advice, to watch the YouTube clips, to follow the influencers, to do all the things. But what I find is a lot of people do that in the name of self-development or attempted career growth and business growth. But actually all it's doing is giving them information that they didn't need, they didn't ask for. It's confused them even more. It's given them even more options and even more shiny things to go for. And now they're in some level of overwhelm, basically. And so they can't see clearly to move forward. They don't have the clarity to move forward. And
I think that's a really good point, actually, the clarity piece.
It's huge.
Being caught up in that kind of not knowing what to do and running around almost like a headless chicken. I think that's really, really the key, I think.
Yeah, it's tuning in, it's coming in and finding my center, which is why I love to bring in like the ancient yogi techniques and the martial arts techniques and the spiritual techniques. I love bringing that in because that's just being sitting here with me right now here, not you, no one else, not the screen, not the noise over here. I mean, even just going to the supermarket in a day can be overwhelming for some people because there's traffic, there's people, your phone's going off, there's lights, there's information. It's like there's information coming at us every day from all directions, seen and unseen. And so people do just need that space. And so also that's what our sessions do, right? I loved the way you said it was a bubble. It is that. It's an opportunity for them just to come in, and I open a space the same way I would open a meditation class or yoga class. It's exactly the same. I open the space intentionally. We cross into a threshold and we enter, and this is your safe space to explore, to be heard, to be seen. All of those things, Estelle, that you were saying, it's really, really beautiful, because just to hold the space for them to process, to find their clarity, to find their realizations, to have somebody to ask you a question. To me, it's very simple. I'm a curious person. I love people. And so I'll ask, and they'll be like, oh, just to take a moment.
Yeah.
What do you want? What's your priority today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a choice. Yeah. And so re-empowering people, that's where I come from with that piece, is to kind of strip it back. And it does get emotional sometimes. There is a fine line between therapy and coaching. And I love it when people are in therapy and in coaching. But there is a fine line, and it can get emotional. It does trigger stuff. We're going into the unknown with career transitions. We're heading into change. We're going into a scary environment. The system's automatically going, oh, okay, I need to protect you here. And that protection creates the resistance rather than coming into it with ease. So a lot of my work is around that, is kind of just being the support and the ease a little bit, it's like a little soul massage.
It sounds beautiful, Claire. It really does. It sounds what really everybody needs this.
I think so.
I just believe it's so important, because from a graduate, to the different, I've been looking at market segmentation at the moment. That's what's consuming my time. It's obviously getting our markets right and defining all of those things. But you know what? It's even lonely at the top. When you get to that top of that funnel, and you're sitting there and you're trying to strategize and you're trying to do all of these things, and am I doing the right thing? The imposter syndrome, all of these kind of things that we talked about earlier. It's all fundamentally through, at any level of professional that you are, from a graduate to an early transitioner to someone in their mid-career, returning to work after parenting, how tough and daunting that can be. An illness even, or the redundancy, and it just sometimes I feel with the way the kind of the corporate world has the way we are now. Even talking to some of the recruitment companies quite recently, everything is very different now, and especially for younger people. Even my own son, I had a conversation with him the other day. I started my background in the UK in recruitment after doing a stint as a sales manager for one of the hotels over here, and I moved into that. And to hear how different it is, that you can't actually just get a temporary job now, and the mental health challenges that come with even that particular age group, of who you talk to. And he's saying to me, "But you're a coach, Mum, you can help me." So, it's exhausting and challenging, but it's nice to be able to not challenge a person, like you said, Estelle, earlier, and sit and listen to them, and just listen to them to help them come to their own realization in terms of what it is they want to do and what they want to do next. And you're right about, I think, the crossover between counseling and coaching. They are very, very close to one another as well. But I think because of the way things have changed so much too, we talked about, like, a lot of us are hybrid and remote workers now. We don't get the opportunity to speak outside the office environment or whatever on a day-to-day. So, this coaching piece is so important. I think for anyone, and as I said, in any part of your professional journey, I think ultimately. Do you girls, do you want to explain then how long you feel these sessions should last for some of your mentees to get to where they want to be on their journeys, your coaching practices?
I'd say I'm going to do an answer, which is not really an answer, because I'm going to say it depends.
Yeah.
Because everyone's different. And I have some clients who, after 4 sessions, they're like, yeah, okay, feel good. And then I have some clients who, a client I had last year who booked some more session for this year. But so I have a very simple formula, which is you pay per hour basically, because wanted to make my coaching affordable and quite, inclusive as well, for everyone. So I have a simple formula, and so he used it to as a check-in, at some point during the year. So I think he booked some more session last January, and I've just had 2 sessions with him so far. And it's just for him he uses them as a boost of in his motivation, when he feels a bit lost, and then he says, okay, no, that's a good time now. I need some coaching, and then boops, it helps him to move on, for the next 2-3 months. And so that's only with him that I have these, but it's
I like sparring partner.
It's more like to have someone to be to be accountable to.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
And then at different points in their work and in they're working on a project. So yes, at different milestones, I think. But and then with some clients it's 90 minutes, some clients it's 60 minutes, because 90 minutes I like it as a coach, because I think it's a good way for us to check in, check out, obviously, and in the middle to really talk about a goal, and sometimes do an exercise or using a coaching model, or adapt stuff, but really focuses on what they want to bring to the session. But I had several clients who said to me, well, 90 minutes in a day, if I have to book sometimes they do it from work, if I have to book a meeting room for 90 minutes, it's complicated between meetings. So that's why I also offer 60 minutes, because it's easier. So there's no one rule for all.
Yes.
It's Friday,
It's Friday, ladies.
Because I'd say, well, it really depends, and I think my approach is to adapt as well to the coachee, and that's we're in this partnership together. So yes, that's also my way of coaching.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it's really, really refreshing, Estelle, that it's customized and it's personalized to the individual's requirements as well.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Claire, what about yourself? Do you want to add some light on?
Yeah, sure. I love that, Estelle. I've recently just done the same thing and just kind of opened up more ad hoc sessions, because I've had past clients that have come back and said, actually, can I have a quick session with you? Or I'm working on this project for the next couple of months, so can we just check in every other week, so we can set deadlines together, and then they can bounce off of you, those kinds of things. So I wonder if that is kind of another kind of little pathway for coaching, because in the past it's always been very consistent for me. I've had hourly sessions. I've been very kind of structured around an hour session, same day, same time, every week, so we can be consistent, and I can get that habit going with them, ideally for 90 days, or ideally for 3 months minimum. Because that 3-month minimum, where you're really starting to rewire what's going on with past beliefs, past habits, bringing in new habits, it generally takes a few months realistically. I mean, they say a month. If you do something every day for a month, now it's becoming a new habit.
That's it.
But
Yeah,
really, in that second month, after 2 months, people are starting to get complacent and drop off again. So it's when that push through the second month, and then the third month, okay, now we're really starting to see some shifts. So I do have a 90-day program, and I do love that. Like, people really love that. If they know that they've got a start and an end, and I'm making it an intentional container for 3 months. This is your focus. Month 1, we're getting very, very clear on this is your priority. This is your number one thing. This is the timeline. These are the deadlines. So there's that. But then also, it does depend, Estelle, doesn't it? Because I've got another lady who's very, very in her creative flow. Every now and again, she just gets a little bit overwhelmed, and she's like, "Whoop, Claire, I'm going off on shiny things again. I'm getting too distracted by all these people. Can you check in?" And so then I kind of bring her a little bit, just kind of getting the kite strings just a little bit, and just coming back into the body. And also my practice with her is very different because she is also very deeply into her spiritual practices. So we're able to talk about bringing down the threads, we're able to talk about in that kind of language. So it does also really, we need to be, this is why I believe we have so much empathy for this evolution and adaptation, because as human beings, we need to adapt, and we need to adapt to each other. Our boundaries change on a daily basis. Who we are changes on a daily basis. As women, depending on our cycles, we change throughout the course of the month. Our energy levels peak and trough, depending on all the things. So, I do see that a lot as well. But so it is a balance. It is I don't think there is any kind of. There's definitely not a one size fits all for coaching. Definitely not. The thing it needs to be is adaptable, and for us as space holders to be with them as they are, because there's no, when we learn, way back when I did my qualifications, and I did another qualification quite recently, but very different. But way back when we were learning a particular way of questioning, coaching, structuring, that's all great to have and great to know, and we can bring it back to that as a reference point. But now it's a way different world, generationally, and the way the world is functioning, and the way we have to hold ourselves and adapt to each other. So it's ever evolving.
No, I totally agree. I think I read somewhere on, I think it was one of the social media platforms, either Facebook or LinkedIn, some of the practices and some of the advice that your parents are giving you now are like 20 years outdated. And I actually thought, well, you know what? It's true, because it's based on those past beliefs and, cultural differences. And we're in a very different world now. So I suppose it is so important to keep checking in and refining that, refreshing it, and obviously staying abreast of what's changing, in terms of best practice and in the coaching industry as well. Is there any takeaway? Because I'm just mindful we're getting on to is near enough to our 40th minute. So do we have any takeaways, do you think, from career transitions, the topic we've been discussing? What would you say your biggest takeaways are, Estelle, and then I'll move on to you, Claire?
I'm just, again, there's really depends of everyone, but when you're in a career transition, be it after redundancy or just your own choice, I think it's really important to take the time to process your emotions. When some people, because we never make great decision, when we feel emotional or when we are emotional, so
that is very true.
Yes, and some people after redundancy rush into something else. Some people have no choice as well. I completely obviously agree with that. It's just take just a little break. And I've been there, and it's really hard to take this little break, because this might be when there is this awesome job published on LinkedIn, and then suddenly there's going to be hundreds of applicants in 1 hour, and you're lost in all the applicants. How to stand out. So yes, it's true. It's and LinkedIn can be great and can be very overwhelming. It's not only LinkedIn, sorry, just not focusing on them, but so processing your emotion, taking the time to feel what you need to feel. Can be lots of things after redundancy, the anger, but the shame as well, so again, we're all different. We all have different feelings when this happens. But I think that would be my biggest takeaway before a career transition. Not necessarily rush into it. Take the time to feel what you need to feel and to identify what you want, the what's next, not necessarily in terms of a job, but for your life and for yourself. So taking this little break. I think it's a good way to reset your mental health as well, and just be more aligned as well with what you want for the future.
No, I think that's really important. Really important. Obviously, for those of us who are it's financially viable enough for us to be able to do that, especially if we've been, unfortunately left in a position where we've we've been put into a career change. So it is really, really good to be able to do that. I would agree, if you can. What do you think, Claire, yourself? What do you think you?
Yeah, definitely. I love conversations with coaches because it's so multi-layered, and I love what you're saying about the emotional intelligence, because really that is, until you know yourself and you can regulate yourself, you can't really be clear on what you want with all this external information and confusion, and particularly in times of career transition, it's emotionally charged, because this is your financial stability, this is your safety, your security, your basic needs. And so when you're going through this career change or transition or redundancy, any of it, I think we've all probably been through all of that, right? Like, God, redundancy, or once you've kind of been through that, it made it very much easier then for me to do the walking and the leaving and the very, right, I'm done with this, I'm going to go and do my own thing. And my knapsack on my back, and off I go into the sunset. And
I love it, Claire.
Very scary going into the unknown.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I admire you
or
to
even
have
when
the
you
guts to
don't.
do it, Claire. Really and truly,
It's
fantastic.
burnout, and this is what people are experiencing. People get to a stage where they're like, do you know what? No more.
Yeah.
No more. I'm done. I don't care. Like I don't care. And that's also a dangerous point to get to, because then if you're looping off a cliff and you've got nothing to go to, then the fear again. So I totally agree. It's about the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence, the just taking a moment, even if I can't take the next 3 months off work to figure out what I want to do. Can I at least introduce a moment into my day where I ask myself deeply before I switch my phone on, what do I need? What do I want? What do I need today? And what direction do I want to go in? What makes me curious? And around the theme of resilience, like, I love it, because this came up for me last week, and I actually ran a workshop on resilience, and the theme of it was all about resilience is not just through getting through pain. Resilience is not just something that we can call on because we're going through the shit. Resilience is something that reminds us of all the stuff we've already done. How resilient are you? Because you came through all that stuff. You did all that stuff. So if you've done all of that, don't think you can't do this. Like, you can move through anything. If you've come through that pain, you've come through that experience, what other magic is possible for you, people?
Do you know what? It's so powerful, Claire. It's actually bringing tears to my eyes, because we all have this ability within ourselves, and actually having that conversation a few hours ago, and just, I mean, even a couple of nights ago, just sitting down, because there is times you just sit down and you just go, God, how much more can I take these 14-hour days? And I just sat there and I just had a moment. I was like, look at what I've done between this to this. And I was like, wow. And I never really usually have that time to actually reflect. And then I had a conversation with my brother as well. And, it was just so powerful. That kind of aha moment when you're like, okay, well, I need to keep going now. Despite the challenges, despite the setbacks, despite this, I need to be consistent and, bring it every day. As you guys are in your own journeys as well. I mean, I'm just in awe of both of you and your tremendous, empathy and just huge presence and big personality. I really, really believe that you're going to be so successful too. Not that you're not already, but hopefully with me as well as part of this platform. Because I think I intimated earlier, we have got a more sound board now on our team. So I really believe we can really take this to new things. And with the salesperson and the marketing person, I hope we can have some corporate customers too that will listen to us talk about career transitions and outplacement support. And leadership and mental health and all those really topical things, and imposter syndrome, and the burnout thing is a big thing too. And
yeah.
Have we anything else that we'd like to add, ladies, do you think, today? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
So many things to say, and then so little time. No, I think we talked a lot about the emotions and our approaches and as a coach. And yes, definitely, I do believe, as we said earlier, that everyone could use a coach, but it's because it's about self-awareness. It's about exploring your emotions. It's about finding a direction as well, and a purpose. So yes, we can.
And I think education as well, and I think that's why these podcasts are quite good as well, because people that may not have considered coaching or may think it looks a little bit different to what you guys have explained about, your own coaching practices and how they work, and tailoring it to individuals' needs. This might be a real eye-opener. That it is, yes, I can go and I can seek that help, or I can, seek that mentorship, or encouragement or motivation, or whatever it is that we feel we need, when we're in those kind of journeys of transition.
And I think there's often a confusion actually with the term coach, because some people say, oh, a football coach or a PE coach, and they tell you what to do. You do 5 reps of that and 10 reps of that. And like this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, a coach, a career or life coach, is completely the opposite. It's really not, it's this, you don't tell the client what to do, what to not do, right? So it's a very different approach. And I think I can see around me, lots of people don't necessarily know what's a coach, or the difference with a mentor as well. So, there's a lot of confusion around the term coach. I think hopefully with this podcast as well, we will educate people on what a coach
I hope so. Yeah. And help those that really want to embark on that journey, because I believe through the coaches I've had, and it really is important. And it's just like you guys have said, just to reiterate, the points, it's that safe space, it's that kind of empathy, and giving them their own time to come up with their own solutions, biased, like you said, like Estelle and Claire, about the family kind of element. They'd like to help and what have you, but it may not be right for what you need to hear there and then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so thrilled we finally did the second podcast, and thank you for your help, because it's only my second one, so I'm still very much a newbie on these things. So I really appreciate your time and your input.
It's great. It's so beautiful to be part of it in this kind of yummy incubation stage, and how it's and just seeing it kind of all starting to take off. It's really exciting, and also to have coaching community is it's so valuable, isn't it? Conversations with coaches is brilliant for coaches, and not just everyone. I mean, I'm biased. But conversations with coaches is just beautiful, because it's always there's always something very profound that's taken away for all of us, I think. And it kind of amplifies what we're all doing and affirms what we're all doing. So good for you, ladies. Great work. Great work.
Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you, Estelle.